Welcome to Direct Mobiles. I'm David, and this is my review of the Sony Xperia XZ3. I've had the pleasure of using the XZ3 as my daily driver for the last few weeks, since I first saw it at its launch at IFA in Berlin. Before we get into the full review, it'd mean a lot to me if you'd smash that like button and hit subscribe, especially if you like the visuals I've put together for you. I always look to make the best looking review possible, so I hope you like this one. And as ever, this will be 100% unbiased. So here we go. First up, let's look at the design and build quality. Chances are, based on the reaction from the team here at Direct Mobiles, and from all the people I've met while out testing the XZ3, you'll probably agree that this one is a seriously good looking phone. The design carries on the ambient flow look from the XZ2, but with some beautiful enhancements, such as the curved glass on either side of the display here, rather like the Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus, which if I put them together here side by side, it's fairly easy to say that Sony holds its own here. And that's a good start, because the S9 series is obviously extremely good looking tech. For me though, I feel like the Sony edges it in the looks department, partly because of that stunning curved back and the way it reflects the light. I even love the way the camera tech is designed and laid out here on the back. Flipping round to the front again, and you'll notice the bezels are slightly bigger than the S9 and S9 Plus. And that is, admittedly, not ideal, but you have to remember that the bezels on the XZ3 are home to the incredibly good front-facing stereo speakers, which in my mind at least makes the size of the bezels totally forgivable. By the way, I'm putting together a video comparing the XZ3 to the S9 and the S9 Plus, so make sure you're subbed for that one and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Lastly, regarding the design, I always warn people to take on board the fact that the location of the fingerprint scanner is a bit too low to be totally natural. Although you should take that on board, I don't think you should let it put you off, as after a week or two, you'll have totally adjusted and will be hitting the scanner first time every time. If you buy a case, it will be a doddle from day one, of course. Build quality here is, unsurprisingly, given that this is a Sony product, extremely high quality. The body is effectively a Gorilla Glass 5 sandwich, as the back of the phone, as well as the curved front, are all formed of the super tough glass from Corning. Buttons on this device work pleasingly well too, with no worries whatsoever, and the device feels truly premium in the hand, with its suitably premium 293 grams of weight. So far so good, but what I really want to get to now is the display, because for me, this is the biggest upgrade over the XZ2. Sony have taken the plunge and gone for an OLED panel here. You may remember all previous Sonys up until now have had LCD displays. They've been amazingly good 4K HDR displays of course, but always LCD. Now we get the same philosophy of shoehorning all the best Bravia TV technology and HDR goodness into an OLED panel, and the results are exceptional. Here you'll find the deepest of deep blacks, but with the most vibrant colours too, along with the most natural colour reproduction I've seen yet. For me, this is just a breathtaking display for watching back content, whether it's Netflix, YouTube, even if it isn't the highest possible quality content you're watching, Sony's upscaling technology works wonders. If you value an amazing screen, then this should be on your shortlist, and a very high up the shortlist too. This 18:9 aspect ratio HDR Quad HD Plus OLED display is jaw-droppingly good. What else is excellent here? Well, I really like the camera tech. You don't necessarily need to have 2, 3 or more lenses over the back of your phone to get the best shots, and Sony proves this. The photos I've taken have been crisp and very natural too. It's only when snapping in very low light conditions I've felt that the S9 series or the Huawei P20 Pro could have done a better job. The 19 megapixel f2.0 lens here is very good, and I like the results. Over on the front, the camera tech is improved too, as the 30 megapixel sensor does a really good job. This is definitely one of the better selfie cameras out there. It's also worth stating that video is good here too, and as ever Sony's super slow motion video capture is, well, just fantastic. The physical shutter button is a nice touch too, half pressed to focus and fully pressed to take the picture. By the way, if you haven't seen my video here on Sony's super slow motion, do check it out. The phone gets amazing results, and you'll have a lot of fun with it. What else do I like? Well, the general speed of this device is super impressive. It feels impossible to bog down this phone, no matter how much multitasking you're doing, and how many apps are open. That'll be thanks to the Snapdragon 845 processor from Qualcomm. It's mighty powerful and works wonders here on this phone. Another reason why this phone flies is that Sony doesn't mess around with Android or fill it with bloatware, so it's just rapid. It also means it's easier and quicker for Sony to keep up to date with the operating system and security updates. This is a big deal and worth bearing in mind. For example, I don't think enough people realise that this was the first non-Google to run with Android Pie out of the box. I'm talking about a stable, non-beta version of Pie, by the way. Sony has a great track record at keeping your phone up to date, safe and secure. So kudos to Sony for that. The side sense is good and it works well most of the time. Sometimes there can be a delay in activating it, but I suspect that software upgrades will keep improving it. I like the fact that it makes the device easy to navigate with one hand, which considering this phone is pretty massive, it's really useful. Obviously no phone is perfect though, and the Sony Xperia XZ3 is no exception here. Some of the things that aren't great, well, I know some of you hate the fact that there is no 3.5mm headphone jack. There is an adapter in the box, so you can use your old school headphones if you want. So at least Sony has covered you there. Apple's new iPhone XS doesn't include that adapter, so you'll have to fork out for that yourself as an extra. So at least Sony is a bit more generous towards us in that regard. There is no face unlock, which is a pity. I would have liked to seen it in here. At least the fingerprint scanner is super fast, but even so, it's a bit of a shame that face unlock is missing. Maybe this phone could have done with slimmer bezels. I mean, I do kind of forgive it, as they're housing some very decent sounding stereo speakers, as I said before. But I think Sony could have worked on reducing them a little bit more, and I'm not sure how I feel about them being so asymmetrical. All in all, I feel that this is a Sony phone that anyone should be proud of to own. From its amazing display to its gorgeous looks, the attention to detail is mightily impressive, and it makes this phone a real pleasure to own. Combine all of that with the fact that Sony supports its devices so well, and you realise that this is a high quality product with impressive longevity. Great to know if you're likely to hold onto your device for at least a couple of years. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you found my review helpful. I'm David and this is Direct Mobiles, and I will see you next time. With over 23 years of award-winning customer service, find your next phone at Direct Mobiles.